Hello, friends, and welcome to a new week, thus a new Realm News Flash. If you are a Patreon member, then you are listening to this today, right after the recording, or as soon as I upload it. So if you want the latest news that is covered in depth and stories you don't typically hear, such as malware as a service threats, AI, Minecraft knockoff, laws affecting Minecraft, and other special reports you won't hear from similar podcasts, then go sign up at patreon.com/realm news today or click the link below. It's free to sign up and free to receive early access content such as today's Realm News Flash. Now that I got that out of the way, allow me to introduce myself to you. I am the host of this show, the Dark Lord. And today I have the privilege of having a co-host, MintRefresh. Welcome back to the show, my friend. You're no stranger here at Realm News. How are you doing today?
I am doing all right, and it's always an honor to come on, but especially this week because a lot has happened in terms of just general news and in terms of what is coming to Minecraft. This is really exciting to be able to talk about. The week of.
We have a ton to cover. In the form of Minecraft news today, we have Minecraft Preview 264030. We have the Minecraft Movie Challenge. We have an Amazon Japan release, quote-unquote, fourth dimension from Dungeons 2 picture of what appears to be what you describe as cutscenes. Then we have moving away from Minecraft a little bit and going to the bigger scope, to its broader universe. We have massive news with Minecraft's parent company, specifically the Xbox gaming division, Asha Sharma's massive quote-unquote reset campaign, along with 3,200 employees being fired in the result of that. And finally, we will discuss, we won't be discussing PlayStation today. I wanted to do that today, and I forgot to delete that out of this intro. What I will be doing, I will actually be making that into a special report later and publishing that on patreon.com/realm news. So go check that out, folks, or I'll announce that later. Hopefully I get around to that later this weekend. Anyways, lots of news to discuss here. Let's jump right into it, Mint, with Preview 264030, which on July 7th, 2026, a new article written by Jay Wells titled Minecraft Preview 264030 was released. And it has some wonderful surprises in it. Let's discuss what's inside this Mojang report by starting with, I think, your favorite topic this week, the cushion. Okay, and I just want to say before we jump into it, some of these attributes the cushion has before I get your take on it. According to the article here, and the article which, let me see here. The cushion is an item that the player can place in the world, interact with, and sit on. It can be pretty much put on anything from what I've seen. It can be crafted into 16 colored variants, which is pretty much the standard in Minecraft, is 16 colors. And then cushions are crafted using 3 wool slabs of the same color. According to this report, the cushions, like a known issue, cushions aren't currently generating in abandoned camps right now, but can be found in the creative inventory. So that's interesting. And I won't get into the cushion placement rules right now because I'm sure you have a lot insight on that. But you did, Mint. I have a quote here from you saying that cushions don't have collision. And you had a tweet saying, quote, cushions not having collision means they'll work somewhat like armor stands where we can nudge them into blocks to make cool designs. And then you went ahead and mentioned something rather cool that I didn't catch. Quote, we can change what blocks cats will randomly sit or lie on, which is fun. Now we can make cats realistic and have them lay on anything and everything, end quote. So, okay, you've just been going crazy with cushions, man. What were your initial... Okay, my first question for you is, what were your initial thoughts when you saw we could sit on cushions?
Yeah, so many. Before I get into that, I just want to have a quick clarification in here. That post about the cats thing, that is for block tags, which cushions are entities, so that does not apply, which I wasn't thinking of when I did say that necessarily, but yeah. So I don't think there's any relation there. That's just a tag that got thrown into Java for part of their whole mission to data drive everything. So I do want to
Gotcha.
add that quick clarification there. But then to cushions, this I don't have necessarily words for what I think here, but I have seen so many quotes about just the snapshot, particularly cushions. I've seen someone on Twitter describe it as the best snapshot ever. I've seen it described as the best Minecraft block ever, which that's again is an entity. I've seen it described as the craziest update of all time and one of the most influential updates of Minecraft history. I for those who have not seen anything about the cushion before listening to this, I just want you to think about that. So cushions, as Zarko had said, is very it is a seat. So at its simplest form, it's something you can sit on, you can dye, and then you can build that into chairs and other seating arrangements like how Minecraft players have been doing forever. But of course, that's really major. But then there's so much stuff with how you can place it and then what it means because it's sort of like an armor stand and you can nudge it. And well, you can't necessarily nudge it, but you can still tuck it away into places that you can't normally put blocks and stuff, but the fact that it's entity and can go through things.
Like for an example, placing it inside a cauldron, right?
Yeah, so the cauldron one might actually be sort of changing in terms of how that works, according to the bug tracker, but that's fairly minor. A lot of what people have been trying to implement with that is, I believe, staying the same. So,
Interesting.
but yeah, so it's for example, you can place it on top of a block, but you can also place it on top of a slab, which is interesting because slabs they don't take up a full block, but blocks take up an entire cube. You can't put two different slabs on top of each other in that same cube area. But because a cushion is not a block, it can be placed on anything that has a flat upward facing surface. So it doesn't need to respect that rule of one block in a space. So that means you can put it on top of a slab because it can go through things. If you even have a stair, you can place it on that step that's in the middle of the block.
Interesting.
And then because there's so many blocks that have different shapes in the game, you can do that with all of these different types of things and have cushions at different height levels, which in a lot of ways that itself isn't necessarily the game-changing part of that, even though that is still pretty cool because then you can still, make some interesting designs with it. But then what happens is because it's an entity and it doesn't, and it needs support. It can't just float, over nothing. It needs that support. But if you pretty quickly break the block that is holding it and place another block there, as long as that bottom face of the cushion is in contact with the bounding box of another block, it'll still be there, which means then you can use different blocks to get it where you want it, and then you can replace it with something else and get really interesting shapes and designs and things. So I've seen these cushions used for everything under the sun in the past few days, from roads to lily pads to frogs to I've seen someone make an alligator, just designs for cars, just making very smooth inclines for grass. I feel like I've seen it all.
You've done quite a few cool things. You made a bell. How are you using them in a grinder?
Yeah, that one I was kind of just playing around. I was looking at shapes and trying to see different height levels, and I was looking at the grindstone, and I combined it with a carpet, and I was like, this looks like it should be something. And eventually I was like, I guess I can make it look like a bell, and so I posted on Twitter.
And you made the lily pads.
I will say the lily pads. I've seen very similar designs before that. The difference is, and this goes to this height placement. And so basically, there's for a lot of people like to make these lily pad designs with flowers by using a trap door, particularly one that's more of like a greenish tone, like weathered or oxidized copper, and then putting a cactus flower or maybe a coral fan on top of it to look like a floating lily pad.
Nice.
And then people with these cushions were like, oh, but now we can take a lime one or a green one and combine that to have like a more appropriate color. And so I saw some designs people just putting that on top of the trapdoor. What I had done with a design that I posted is very similar to that, but instead of putting the cushion on top of the trapdoor, I had built around underneath it quickly to get seven. This is where it gets ridiculous. 7 layers of snow
Jeez.
stacked up on top of each other, so that I can place the cushion at this perfect height where it's still supported by the trapdoor, but is lower than sitting directly on top of it. So it's actually like in halfway inside of the trapdoor, and I had the cactus flower on top of that, and that just made a design like basically what people were doing, but a lot less puffy and more flat. And that way, also the cactus flower doesn't look like it's kind of in a weird glitched situation. So that's what that was, but that still went. I don't know what that has. Maybe I think I saw like 13K likes.
Wow, that's amazing. And you're doing some really neat things with the cushion.
Yeah,
And
if you want to see more, and this is particularly for other people like listening, if you have not seen what the community has done, there's Twitter, but I know a lot of people don't necessarily recommend Twitter. But there's videos by a lot of big creators. Bobbycraft has 2 videos on this of just ideas from the community. Waddles has shown stuff. Grian, Cub Fan, Demon Joe TV. Like there's a lot of videos of people just in awe of just like, here's all these different things you can do, and you will see some of the craziest designs.
yeah,
But I mean, and I've been on here always touting just like when something comes out that has potential, just watch the community, and you will see some of the most unexpected things.
yeah, it's amazing what the community can do. Much more creative than me, such as yourself. Something that really I thought was cool that I saw was from this one account named Benzie, and I've never heard of him before until this. But they're like, they say, God, this update is so beep cool. And I'm not going to say that word, but they made like essentially using cushions into like this electronic dance floor. It can turn on like by using glowstone under it. Or wait, is it glowstone? No,
It's a redstone lamps.
It's a redstone lamp.
Yeah, because they can be activated by redstone.
That's crazy. I didn't know they could activate with redstone. So they glow when activated?
No, so this is another one of those things of just like how insane this feature is because so basically what's happening here is again, because you can basically use different blocks and stuff to get them at very interesting height levels, and then swap the block out to get certain stuff. So what they have done, and I've seen a lot of accounts do this. I think it's one of those things where a lot of people had the same idea suddenly, and so there's a lot of implementations. But people are using cauldrons, which you did mention. So cauldrons and composters, for some reason, have and it sounds like this is actually being patched out, and so this won't be replicable after the snapshot in this way. I believe the dance floor stuff is still possible, but it's just going to be different than how you set it up. But basically, you can place the cushion inside the cauldron, and you're able to get it in a location that isn't actually in line with the pixels of Minecraft blocks. And so people were using this trick to get the cushion to be just the tiniest bit higher than the block that it's in. And I think with my understanding is because of that and like rendering, lighting stuff that happens because of how entities work, which sometimes is weird. It makes it so that when you have the redstone lamp there, which is a full block, it causes the cushion to go slightly dark for some reason. But when you activate the redstone lamp and it shines light through it, it illuminates it again. And
That's
so
insane.
we've been using that to create these dance floors and like disco floors
I
uh,
love it.
using the cushions. And it's
It looks
it's who would have
cool.
came up with that? I don't understand. People was like, oh, Microsoft's gonna add something for seating, and then within like 24 hours, people have turned it into dance floors that
It
light
looks
up.
amazing, man. I want that for my palace. I want like a disco dance floor. Um, I have you been looking at Silent Whispers stuff?
I mean, I follow him on not Instagram on
On
Twitter.
Twitter?
I see
Did
like
you?
every once in a while I see videos. Is there something in particular that
Well,
you're
yeah.
referring to?
I don't know if you saw the cushion transport system.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
It's
So
faster than mine carts.
yeah, and I will say that is broken, and I can't say I will be upset if that one gets patched
No,
because
it looks
like
very fractured indeed.
yeah.
It doesn't look right. But I thought that was interesting. So let me backtrack just a moment.
Mhm.
That dance floor looking LED trick or function or whatever you want to call it that they discovered, or is that going to be patched out, you think?
I don't believe so. So there's been a lot of like discussion of what's been happening in the bug tracker related to cushions because so many people looked at this and it was like, this is so cool and stuff you can do. It's like, there's no way that this is like how it's supposed to be. A lot of my understanding is that the placement stuff and everything has been confirmed to be worked as intended in terms of like getting into the middle of blocks, and all of that stuff. The thing that right now is definitely confirmed to be changing is getting it at sub-pixel levels. And I actually had someone clarify this to me on Twitter this morning because I understood it to be a little bit more than, or a little bit differently. But basically, having it so that what people were doing with like cauldrons and being able to place it inside but along the side to get sub-pixel levels where it's not aligned with the pixels, that is not intentional. It sounds like that is going to be changed, though it sounds like there's going to be some way to make that happen again with data packs, and probably also like commands, because a lot of that works the same. But in terms of like being able to place it on top of a surface and possibly have it be not aligned with pixels, it sounds like that's staying. So people have been doing a lot of the dance floor stuff using like cauldrons or composters. That sounds like the way that people have been doing it that way sounds like is changing and won't be possible, but you can still use, this is something I figured out when I was kind of just like testing everything. I made a post about like the most convenient blocks to use to get whatever level you really want. I noticed that wall signs, so if you place a sign on a wall, that the top of that box is about 12 and a half pixels above the block below it. And 12 would be basically in line with what with the next block, like the top surface. So 12 and a half should be good enough to still have those dance floor type of things, I believe. We'll have to see, but from my understanding, that will still be possible. Just the way people have been building it is going to be different.
No, very interesting. No, it's I've seen a lot of cool architecture things done with cushions too.
Yeah, people are making like rounded edges, and I mentioned like slopes, and like
Yeah.
I saw someone say like, there you go, you can make wheelchair accessible ramps in Minecraft, which is so funny because I was not in like they just like that you can do it, but I was thinking the other day I was just thinking kind of like of city landscapes and stuff you build. And I was
Yeah.
like, if you were going to try and build something like that into your build, it would just be like a few slabs.
That's true.
But now you can actually make like an actual convincing looking ramp.
That's very true. It's more sloped now, the gradient. No, and I've seen people using them for like covers over like over beds for villagers.
Yeah, because again you can place them on like any top surface. So
So
you
hold on.
place it on a
So
bed and it looks like a cover.
So you place them on the bed and they can still just get into bed, just like normal.
Yeah, because it's a, I mean, I think even if there was like a block above the bed and whatever, but especially because it's an entity, like other mobs, to them it doesn't really exist at the moment. Like there's no
That's
interactions
interesting.
anyone's worried about. So there's a bed, you can walk through cushions and everything. It doesn't obstruct anything. So they go into bed as normal, but except there's an extra thing there that's I mean, same thing if like you put like an armor stand on a bed or whatever. Like it doesn't bother villagers or any other entities. It doesn't actually block anything. So so that was one of the first things I think I saw people figuring out is you can you can put them there and it looks like like I guess a puff you can say maybe of just like blankets or
Yeah.
covers on top of the bed, and when you sleep in it, it covers part of the player or the villager's body, and so
They're actually
you
under the covers,
yeah, they're actually under the covers, which is
which is
so interesting
amazing.
because you have beds on the texture, you have sheets and stuff, but you just sleep right on top of it.
Yeah, it's like why did the
Like
villagers?
oh, like you kind of like you're there like sitting like laying on top of the bed, just like contemplating life, which some of us do sometimes. But if only they could actually close their eyes too. Uh,
So villagers prefer sleeping on top of their covers and contemplating life.
so do all the players. If you play Minecraft and you slept in a bed, I mean, it's the same for
True.
you.
It's true. But now they don't have to. Now they can be underneath some covers
Yeah, and just stare up at the ceiling.
and stare like, yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I've seen new pieces of furniture being made with these. I can't wait to build my own throne. That's going to be fun. I'm going to carry a cushion on with me everywhere so I can sit places. You know, what are you going to do with them?
I don't know. I think I've said on Twitter the other day. I was like, "It's been 48 hours. I cannot believe this is a thing still."
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I have just a million like because to me, I just look at the potential, and I'm just like, you ask me like you want to ask me one thing, like I don't know, like like again, like I don't think I can look at building like in like decorating a build in Minecraft the same way like after this. Like, which
Yeah.
is such a crazy thing to say because a year ago we got, I mean, it's not even been like a full year, I don't think, but we got shelves.
Yeah, I
And
know.
I remember at one point talking about shelves and saying like, you will know when you look at like a Minecraft build, you will most of the time you will be able to tell whether or not it was created before or after shelves were in the game
Yeah.
because of how useful those can be and how and the possibilities that unlocked. Same with cushions, but like tenfold. I cannot like I can look at like the shape of a build, I can look at like the decorations inside, I can just look at a landscape and I can see how you could use cushions to do something you could not previously do. It,
In less
yeah,
than a
I
year.
can't. Yeah, I just cannot look at anything the same way again. I feel like.
Yeah, that's interesting. We did discuss shelves on the round table, the first one, I believe, and last year, and then now we have cushions, which I really enjoy that Minecraft is adding this type of, I don't know, what would you call it, furniture almost to Minecraft. I don't know what this would be considered. It's a cushion, so
Yeah, people describe it as furniture, particularly when comparing to the previous stance that Mojang seemingly had on that they didn't want to add furniture. I sort of see that, but this has also been always been my take of like how they would get around it. And like, there's actually you can look on my Twitter because I reposted it. Is a while back in a reply to somebody I had said I was just like I imagine like if Mojang was ever going to add something you can sit on, but it's not a chair. I think I described it as something like a wool slab that you can build into chairs and everything like
pretty much a cushion.
yeah. I called it a cushion in this comment from at least months ago.
Yeah, I remember you seeing that. I remember you seeing that. You posted that like
Yeah.
yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, I was just like I was trying. I was like like a seat. I think I described it as a seat or a cushion or something like that. And there's mods, there's add-ons that had like similar kind of like concepts, which we'll get into. But I was just like I don't think they would give us a chair. Like they wouldn't give us furniture like that. They would give us the seating functionality and work it into something else and let people build the furniture still.
I agree.
Yeah, so I wouldn't describe this itself as necessarily furniture, even though like a cushion you can kind of like look at it that way. But like at the end of the day, Mojang did not like basically say all those chairs and stuff you've built, don't worry about them because just here's a chair. It's all that stuff can still be used as it is, and you could tuck a cushion into it, or you build around the cushion and make even more designs. This is like, because people are always saying like, oh, they want to add furniture because they want to inhibit creativity. This is exactly how they add something like that and have creativity go through the roof.
No, it was ingenious. Honestly, I just thought like, wow, that was super clever of the developers to come up with the cushion. That was a great workaround, as you said, the furniture, which kind of goes against their ethos.
Yeah. Well, not also, I mean, we don't even know that to be the case anymore because that was on a page on the feedback website that had previously gotten archived when someone was asking Jeb something about it, and he was like, I didn't even know it said that, and so they just archived the entire page. So we know it's been outdated. We don't know what things on there are still something that Mojang believes in, or if they ever did. Because again, if Jeb did not know that something was said on there and it was not accurate at that time, we can also now look at it and be like, was any of it fully true? Unless we've seen it said elsewhere.
True.
But
no, that is true. The cushions kind of brought along a little bit of a debate, or some people have been claiming that it was ripped off. Like, people on X or Twitter have been arguing that Mojang took this idea from other creators. For example, supplementaries, or stole the idea from Hightail or other games with sitting functions or similar cushions. However, you, Mint, shared a Blue Sky post. This was the first time I saw this, made on July 9th this year, that disproves these conjectures. Just completely
seemingly.
false. Well,
of course. Like, of course, you always have to take someone's word for it. But
you do. Well, this is coming from you posted this one from a person named Fur, F-R-R-R-R, from Blue Sky, who asked Sarah this, quote, "Hey, Sarah, I'm curious. Was the supplementaries cushion an inspiration for the vanilla one, or is the similar functionality just a side effect of both being entities?" End quote. And Sarah Bovine replied, Sarah Bovine's an artist and developer for Mojang. She replied, quote, "Just a side effect of them both being entities. It's tricky. There's a lot of great ideas already explored in the community, so sometimes it just happens." End quote. And then a question you asked directly, Miss Bovine, Mint, was, quote, "The cushion is revolutionary. It remains feeling Minecrafty. Well done to the team." Not sure if you're able to answer this, but are you able to say how long this has been in ideation and development? End quote. And she responded by saying, quote, "We've been playing around with the idea / prototyping since Tiny Takeover, but other game designers have discussed it in the past." End quote. What were your initial thoughts on Furs, and then what were your initial thoughts on the process on how long it was to develop it? Because they've been developing this for quite some time, it sounds like. So
yeah. Before I answer that, I want to give a little bit of additional context. So, supplementaries is I'm pretty sure it's a Bedrock add-on, because I know it's on the marketplace, so I guess it must be. That they, I believe they currently have something called the Cushion that works very, very similarly. I say very because I haven't played with it. I've seen it in a video they posted on Twitter a while back. I don't think I saw it until after all this began. And they pointed out that they met with whoever their contact would be as a studio for the marketplace, and they presented this to them about a year ago. And so they're kind of like, "This is interesting." They never made any like direct claims of this was like stolen or whatever. I think they was like, "This is interesting that this happened."
I have it right here, the quote.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
By Mark, right? By Plant Killable, at Plant Killable.
This would be, I believe, the supplement. Oh no, it wasn't. It was someone that works for them.
Yeah.
You might have the right one. Yeah.
It says, quote, about a year ago, we had a meeting with Mojang where we showed off our cushions with their functionality of being able to go on stairs, slabs, and anything else. In a sense, I'm happy they added them, but I can't help but wonder if we played a hidden role in that. That Mark person was replying to what I think you were thinking of initially by supplementaries, who said, quote, what if Minecraft they said, quote, bro, are we FRRN, end quote. Are we for real right now?
Yeah.
Bro, are we for real right now?
So that was what I was referring to.
Then I think one of the developers for supplementaries, or whoever you want to call them, was the one that made that more lengthy quote I read.
Yeah. So I have a lot of thoughts on this. Luckily, with the quote from Sarah Boving, a lot of this I can really condense. But the first thing I'm going to say in terms of like the hightail comparisons, can we just knock it off with that? Like, come on. Oh my God, sitting in Minecraft. You're trying to convince me that happened because of hightail. Like, you've been able to, like, people have been able to sit in boats, sit in minecarts and all that stuff, and like people have been working that into stuff. And I'm going to bring this back up in a second. Like obviously sitting's been a thing. People have wanted stuff. There have been mods for longer than hightail has been a gleam in anybody's eye about mods and data packs and stuff for chairs and stuff like that. Like,
this is true.
Yeah, like,
true.
There's no merit to that argument. It's just meant to stir drama. Anyways, and in terms of supplementary stick, which I think there's a little bit more to talk about here. They're like, again, it's the same thing. Like, chairs and ways to sit are not an idea that started with supplementaries. Again, like, I've never played with supplementaries. I follow them on Twitter, and I see interesting things that they post every once in a while because, like, they have some interesting stuff in their add-on. But I came up with basically this idea with the same name, completely unrelated too. Again, the evidence is on my Twitter. I've seen there's another mod, it's the Quark mod, that they have something called a stool, which is not as much as like just the wool mat looking thing, but that's also very much a block that is dyeable and allows you to sit, but you actually build it into other things instead of being a chair or a couch by itself. So like this idea is not something that started with supplementaries. Like that could have come from a million places, and like there's other mods. And then also, if you think like if all these other mods were able to come up with that idea independently, why can't Mojang? Like how does that make sense logically? And then the entity thing I think is the really big one. Was brought up in that question to Sarah. I think that is really the thing that people are latching onto, with that it is the entity that can be placed in all these weird places, because the supplementaries one can also do that. And I will admit that definitely seems like on first look like, hey, this is more or less the same. Again, I haven't played it to see really how much, but also then you think about it, and I mentioned stuff like armor stands before. Armor stands entities work the same way, and people have been using that since armor stands were added in Minecraft 1.8. I remember all these videos of people being like, "Oh my God, you can, put these blocks and stuff on top of armor stands, and then make them invisible and pose them, and get these like really interesting designs and stuff." Like that idea of doing that with an entity has existed for a long time, and then even with chairs and seats, people have been doing the same thing with like basically glitching mine carts or saddled pigs into locations so that you can sit on them. Like to me, when I think of like a chair in Minecraft, and before like the snapshot, I was like, how can you sit in a chair in Minecraft? It's by doing basically exactly what they decide to implement into the cushion. So that doesn't there's very realistic routes for how someone can be like, how would we implement something for sitting in vanilla Minecraft? Looked at something or many things that are not supplementaries, and arriving in a very similar place. So I think claiming that it was stolen is it's just not looking at all of the available information or considering all of the possibilities. It's a very like knee-jerk reaction to something that we only have the information that we have, and that right now, in terms of official information, is that yes, it is similar, and Sarah Boving said that there was no connection, which like it doesn't even have like Mojang has never been afraid to do this before. Like there's so many things in the game that originated in mods. If you look at the credits of the game, there are like modders in there of things where Mojang like worked with modders to get their stuff into the game. Like this isn't something that Mojang would be scared of. So it sounds like this just isn't what happened here.
Well, I think you made some great points. I didn't know that about them working in modders into their credits. That's really neat.
Pistons were a mod. I believe like so in beta, I believe they reached out to the people who made the mod and said, "Hey, can we add this in vanilla?" Horses, same thing. Horses came from a mod called Mo Creatures, and so the person who made that is a Dr. Zark, maybe pronounced possibly incorrectly, but that came from that mod, and they said, "Hey, we want to add horses. What do you guys think? You guys help us out." Like this has happened on multiple occasions. So they kind of be like, "Oh, they stole something and they can't give credit," or whatever. But considering the evidence that they have, and this is not something they've been afraid of. Like, obviously, I guess you can maybe make the claim about things have changed because it got bought with Microsoft, but I don't know why that has to be the case. That I don't know why that's a reasonable or like a trustworthy take. So just like I feel like there's just too many holes in the argument for to claim that this is what happened. So yeah.
From what you've described, I would have to agree with you on that. I mean, I can also see how the supplementary people weren't even really they weren't, like you said, they weren't even being brash about it. They weren't being upset.
Yeah.
They were just like, for real?
Yeah. And like part of it, like, because I mean, I don't make mods, so it's a little bit different, but like there's things I've done. It's like data packs, and I think I said a previous time I was on, if like Mojang added any of this stuff like that I put time into, just like cool. I care about the game. I'm doing a lot of this because this is stuff that I think is useful or people would like or whatever. Like I understand like if you put like time into something and then suddenly it seems like Mojang did it, especially if it looks like that they could have done it because you were like I can see where that it kind of maybe feels like a little bit like cheated of your work. Like I won't deny that of how it can possibly feel that way, but considering that I just don't think that's what happened, and then also the people that supplementers would have met with were the marketplace people. Marketplace people don't develop vanilla Minecraft. That's not the same. So there's like, and obviously you can say like, oh, they told whoever, and they told like, yeah, but like I don't know. And like the one thing I will say is in the event that if we did somehow find out that this was actually like that, I don't think it's that Sarah like lied or anything. It would probably be like, you know, something she doesn't know is like, oh, this did originate there. But if that did happen, here's what I will say is obviously again with like for the people that like spent their time developing for supplementaries, I'm sure that's a little bit like, you know, of a weird place to be in. But in terms of like looking at like vanilla Minecraft, is that a bad thing? Like, because I would look at like what everyone has done with this. People absolutely love this feature. It is transformed so much. It is what I would say as close as much as I possibly can. Like that is, it's an objectively good feature. It pushes the game forward to add something that people have been wanting, things that people didn't really know they should want. Like this, like it is a good thing for Minecraft. And like if this was something that was inspired by that, like again, I think like, you know, credit should be given if that were the case. But in terms of it happening, I'm not mad. Like,
yeah, I'm not mad that cushions are in the game either, and I am fully in support of them being there. I've been wanting to sit forever, and I love what the community is doing, and people like yourself, what you're doing with these, and of course, if this was a stolen idea, then yeah, the proper people should be credited.
Yeah, but again, I just don't think that's what happened here.
I don't either. I think it's just one of those cases where, as Sarah Bovine said, it just happens. It just, it's video games. People sit, so it just came to the same, relatively the same conclusion into designing it. So,
yeah, there's enough like explanations. If it happened once, it could happen twice. Like I get that it would be this would make this a whole like coincidence, I guess. But like, I mean, is it a coincidence that like there's mods that had Nautiluses in them, and like we have not like or spears like, and then those don't work. Like, a lot of those don't work the same way. But I guess those are things that would generally be more complex than we need something that makes someone sit.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how it plays out. I agree. I don't think it was a stolen idea, and definitely wasn't because Hightail had sitting. Because this is much better than Hightail's version of sitting. In Hightail, you have to like make a chair, which I am not a fan of having furniture. I'm glad Minecraft doesn't allow us to have furniture.
Yeah, I mean, furniture would be cool, and I understand why people use mods or data packs that allow it and stuff. Yeah, but I would say in terms of the Minecraft approach, the Minecraft approach that they've always had, and I personally believe one of the things that made it as impactful of a game today was because we didn't have that stuff. And so people would find their own creative ways to solve those problems. Like if there was a chair at the beginning of Minecraft, go in any building, in Minecraft building, most of them would probably look largely the same in terms of like that stuff. They would have chairs and they have like tables and they'd be like the same shape and whatever. But not only is Minecraft never gone for that approach, and that's why you can see all this creative stuff, but their answer to that we just got still doesn't even like change that. Like Minecraft's always been about like the creativity, and Hytale has cool stuff, but they haven't approached player creativity in the same way, from my understanding, at least.
No, I agree. And I think that's a good place to leave the cushion. I'd like to move on to potions, and I don't really know anything about these except for now that you can pretty much create. I don't know the technicality behind this, so you have to explain this. But now you can pretty much create your own potions, right?
Yeah, this is a thing for creators. This is also something particularly for Java. I don't know where this falls for Bedrock because their internal systems are very different. But the short of it is that in the way that we've been able to modify and create our own crafting recipes and furnace recipes and things like that, and stonecutter recipes, that has finally been added for potions and using the brewing stand, which is, I would say, just like particularly big because there's so much customization you can do with potions that like having these systems exposed allows people to really modify that, because a lot of people don't like the brewing system, and I don't really mind it as much, but I think part of it is because just like playing Minecraft, like when I started, I was able to memorize like the brewing recipes, but I understand for a lot of people it is not intuitive. But before, a lot of this stuff is really, data driven, where we can like add new recipes and stuff. Potions were one of the first things to have all this like customization you can do, because you can change how long an effect can be on it, what effects are on the potion, the color of it. That's one of the earliest things I remember, playing around with and like messing with things in Minecraft. But only now can we actually like change and add recipes. So there's a lot of fun things. So I had posted on Twitter just like two examples that I'll probably further develop. One of them adds some potions for effects we couldn't make as potions before. So like the glowing effect and what was the other ones I put on there? The wither effects, like from like the wither and like wither rose, and then haste, which makes you dig faster. So like you can add stuff like that, things that had kind of never gotten implemented as potions. And then there was another one I did. It was more for fun. I did mention that I was going to do this to you. That I made something where you can brew beer.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was cool that
Yeah,
and wine. You made something.
yeah,
berry wine.
Sweet berry wine, and
That's really
and that was
cool.
one of the things I was like, is you can do potions, but also part of the thing that you can now do when you have access to recipes like this is it doesn't even have to be a potion. It can just be some sort of beverage, and you can use these recipes and have things that are not actually like potions at all. Like the example on the Minecraft like article, I believe they said something about putting a water bucket in and brewing it with a potent sulfur block to get a sulfur cube bucket, which I was like, that's a fun idea. That like is interesting thought, but yeah. So I just did like beer and wine. I was more just like, this is the type of stuff this now opens the
And even
door
get you
for us.
drunk. Like I saw the effects. Like it makes the screen all distorted.
Oh yeah, that's the nausea effect, which comes from a
cool.
few things, but most recently, like potent sulfur and like the sulfur lakes that are in sulfur caves.
So you were able to just link that to that potion in designing it.
Yeah, basically. So I went in there. I said, it's still going to brew a potion, but this is what goes into it. I added two effects to the potion. One of them was nausea. I got to say how long those ran for, and I said like, this is the color that's going to be applied to the liquid in the bottle, and I set the name, and yeah.
That's so cool. Where's the meat at?
The mead, I know you mentioned that, and if you haven't noticed, I have been so preoccupied with how much stuff has been happening this week.
Come on, man. No, this joke.
Yeah, no, that is actually on the list. Technically, I think I actually set that up in the pack. I just don't think I've posted it. I also did the same for apple cider. So technically, I have set that up, and I've tested that the recipe works, but I just haven't posted it.
Nice. Oh, I see. Tomo Jetster goes Whiskey River to your post.
Yeah. Yeah, but like stuff like this as like a creator sort of like gets me excited, just like fun random things.
That is
Obviously,
fun.
cushions are still like I would say a much bigger deal in the snapshot, but there's stuff like that. And then there's also some like other very interesting back end changes in the previous week's snapshot as well.
Oh heck yeah! And okay, well I love the potions and what you're doing with those. I'm sure a lot of creators are going crazy with all that. I haven't seen much with the potions, honestly. I've seen primarily just cushions.
Yeah, well, I think like, the cushions are definitely a show stealer because that's not back end stuff. That's just things that we can do in like survival without any sort of packs or modifications. So like I get that. So the potions did fly under the radar. It's always funny 'cause sometimes this happens. Like basically being able to make custom items come out of crafting recipes also flew under the radar because that was implemented in the same snapshot that added the wolf variants, I believe, back for Armored Paws. And I remember clocking that and being like, oh my god. And that's how I got back into like pack creating in YouTube because that's what started the mini block stuff, which I've talked about in the past. But yeah, sometimes they just have things that fly under the radar and don't really get talked about. So it's always interesting because I read the technical stuff, and as you see, then I start posting, just spouting a bunch of ideas and concepts on Twitter.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. But let's move on to what we have next in this report or this preview that was released. We have straw beds, which not much to really. Well, actually, the straw bed's official now from this, right?
Yeah, straw beds are cool, and I just forgot they were a thing. But yeah, no, those are really.
Yeah, I love the straw bed, and the straw bed. Let me just read this off real quick. Is a new type of bed which can be used to sleep through the night without resetting your spawn point, which is nice. It can only be used once, and then it's destroyed after use. So one and done. It cannot be used in the nether or the end and will be destroyed if you try to sleep on it there, just like a regular bed. And it is crafted using 3 hay bales and will give you 4 straw beds, which I've seen a lot of people argue that is too costly. A lot of people argue that's not for beginning players, and which you're familiar with that argument.
I am, and I know I just remember there's a comment that you liked that I said about it that
I think
I
I
could
even
probably
commented
regurgitate. I
on
don't
it.
remember exactly.
I think I said I agreed with you on it
Oh yeah, you did.
because I can't remember verbatim, but people or whatever the comment was, I don't have it here in front of me. They were saying that it's just pretty much too costly. But you were arguing that this isn't like a day one bed. This is not like your day one bed. This is something that you use after you set up a more permanent base and you get settled down, right?
Yeah, on your first day of Minecraft, generally what you're doing is trying to find where you're gonna live and survive. So what you want for if you're going and you're gonna start setting up a base somewhere, you don't want a straw bed. You want a normal bed so you can set your spawn point. That's what it's for. Straw beds are not for they were never stated to be for the early game, and they are probably unless you spawn next to a village, which happens, but and that would still be convenient for letting you sleep. But straw beds are meant for exploration, as one of the things that had been talked about, especially during Minecraft Live, and always how I've always thought about this when I've seen this concept in like mods in the past. I think I mentioned a long time ago during probably the roundtable that I've seen something like this in either I think it was the Open Blocks mod, which I don't even know if that made it past Minecraft 1.6. It was that or extra utilities, but regardless, that you didn't take that so you can sleep in your base or anything, or sleep wherever. That was so that you can go exploring and not set your spawn point. That's the whole idea and reason for adding it is to not set your spawn points. If you're that's an early game thing that doesn't do anything for you. That's not what it's for. And so a lot of people are saying like it should or describing it as I think that the recipe is a little bit weird. I don't and I'm not against it changing, and not because it's too hard, but just because 9 bales of hay, just 27 wheat feels a little bit funny to me.
It's 3 bales, right?
3 bales, so 9 wheats each, so it's 27
okay. So
wheat.
27 total wheat, which weird.
When you think about it that way, it feels
bales.
a little bit weird. And so I get that, and so I'm not against it changing, but I don't my issue with it isn't that it's too expensive for players to get on their first nights, because while it is cheap, you just need a little bit of setup for it. But the players that are in that situation, the hay or the straw bed isn't for them anyways. So that doesn't concern me.
To me, the hay bale seems counterintuitive. I think we could just skip that and go straight to the wheat.
But that's bread.
Oh, I mean, not 3 wheat, but maybe 10 wheat equals a hay bed. You know what I mean? Because why would I make a hay bale to tear it back down and to make a straw bed?
Well, I guess if you think about it in terms of real life, if you were trying to set something up, you would sleep on you can sleep on a bale, a stack of hay. I've seen that movies and stuff barns or whatever. But if you have here's a bushel of wheat and trying to put that into a bed feels a little bit weirder in context. Even though in Minecraft context it's really the same thing. But
I think they should then make it 1 hay bale. A bed.
That crafts back into 9 wheat.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons I see where part of the issue is some of it is just in a different world with different recipes that some of this stuff would maybe be approached differently.
Well, but you think about in my head, if I grab 9 handfuls of wheat, I think I could make a proper little temporary bed out of that.
Maybe.
to
I mean maybe, but
27. Man, what am I sleeping on? A barn in a barn?
I was gonna say that's a lot more luxury, and when you wake up, I mean, well, also you do get 4 hay bales. So what is that? That's going to be roughly under. Where is that? A little bit under 7 things of hay or things of wheat per bed, which that math does work out a little bit. But I'm also then just I feel if I was going exploring and I was making 4 at a time feels a little bit funny to me. It's convenient maybe, but I've there's been suggestions for recipes and stuff. again, I'm
And
fine with it. Like, but
do these? I know they stack, but do they stack to 64?
ooh, I think they stack the 16 maybe.
Okay, that makes sense. Like eggs.
Yeah, but and then there's always things just like why do eggs stack to 64 but like not
A baker's
I
dozen.
don't know. There's always like questions and stuff like that, which is a whole rabbit hole that I don't have any particular
I don't
insight on at
either.
the moment. But yeah, so it stacks the 16. It seems you make four at a time, and so like one bed is a little bit under 7 pieces of wheat, but you need 27 to make them at all, which like
And when you wake up, it's broken
when you wake up, it just breaks, and
into
so
wheat.
no, it's a nothing.
Oh, just poof, it's gone.
Yeah, it's just poof.
I
You
figured
rolled
it'd be
around
like
a lot in your sleep, and it's all just blown into the wind. I don't know.
I thought maybe they would do it like a campfire where you break it and you only get partial amount of what you put into it. You know, like if you break a campfire, don't you get like just 2 coal and like a stick or something? Or
Yeah, it's something like that for without silk touch. But yeah, so you get like some,
yeah,
leftover of it.
It's not the full amount that you put into it, but you get partial. For some reason, my brain went towards that with the straw bed. I didn't think it just poof vanished. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it basically it just breaks into some particles and it's gone.
Okay, well, I'm okay with that too. That doesn't bother me. But I can definitely see the recipe changing, and I would also be okay with that because there is something weird. I think it might be just the number 3 equals 4. Like 3 to 4. Like even though it's hay bales.
Yeah, and again, like it makes it so like more proportional. Again, like you don't use 27 wheat for 1, use 27 for 4. But like,
Yeah.
that still feels funny that you have to first that you have to do that to make 4 at a time, but also
Yeah.
that you make 4 at a time.
Like why wouldn't you just use 27 wheat to make 4 beds, right? Instead of converting that wheat into 3 hay bales and then turning that into 4 beds. That doesn't. To me, that's weird.
And I mean, to me, I feel like it just makes sense. It's more of just like the fact that you need to make 4 at a time. That's what feels weird to me. Is like I'm out exploring. I need to make like a nice
Like
little
a
thing for me to
batch of
sleep
them?
on.
I see what
But
you're
I
saying.
make 4 of them at a time. And for
Yeah,
people that
should be individual,
and for
right?
people that use this for building and stuff, that I guess works for them. But you can also have a recipe for 1 at a time, a cheaper recipe for 1 at a time, and then make as many of those as you want. So that's not really an
That's
issue.
true. I would be more apt for just create 1 at a time as well. That does make more sense to me. Let's move on to abandoned camps. Not much has been changed there, but I'll read this. Abandoned camp now generates in pale garden and forest in flower forest biomes, which
they
that's
did on
cool.
Java.
What's that?
They already did on Java. That must have been a Bedrock thing.
Oh, nice. Okay. I have the bug numbers here or whatever. MCPE.
Yeah. So those are bugs. Yeah. So they were meant to.
Okay, gotcha. And then straw beds are found in abandoned camps, which I think creates more lore to it. The Wandering Trader. I mean, it makes sense because these are supposed to be camps. They're temporary. So, again, that reinforces the whole adventure exploration aspect of this bed to me, anyways.
Yeah. So you get wheat, like, and you find it through like the recipe book, and you go that way, or you stumble upon one of these camps and you see that and it's like, oh, what does this do? And you figure it out and say, oh, that's useful, or maybe you don't say, oh, that was weird. It just disappeared.
I love the abandoned camps. I think they're just really cool. If I was a brand new player and I came across that, I'd be so, for lack of a better word, stoked. Like I would love it. What is this? Oh, they also go ahead and say this, man. Updated abandoned camps to place procedural trees. Does that mean just trees around it?
I think what that means is in the first version of the abandoned camps, a lot of the generated structure included trees, I think. I think instead they've just got rid of those and said when this generates, it's going to make sure to place trees itself.
Okay.
So like, I think
cool.
if there's any noticeable impact really there, it's just maybe they'll look a little bit more natural than maybe they did before.
Okay, gotcha. And then clarify this for me. Fixed wrong potion names in the loot tables for the banded camp?
If I had to guess, because again, I'm not familiar with this bug, and also this is Bedrock, but I think that I'm guessing just when the chests that held potions, which was what usually I think the copper chests that are sometimes like buried within them, those now have the names of the potions are probably just generating wrong, because like even on Java, the like potions have like a different way of handling names than other items, which is something I've actually found to be kind of annoying when working on the examples we were talking about before.
Interesting.
So maybe that similar thing on Bedrock with how it handles that, and so maybe those were just like somehow coming out wrong.
Gotcha. Okay. And moving on to the Dapple Forest, just some changes they made. I'll read off real quick. Changed biome fog settings to match other forest biomes, so there's parity there. Updated orange, red, and yellow poplar leaves with this acronym MERS textures.
MERS.
Do you know what those are?
It's for Vibrant Visuals.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you.
MERS handles stuff. I don't know exactly what it stands for at the top of my head, but it handles stuff like reflectivity and things like that.
Okay, good to know. I'm glad you clarified that. They also updated ambient sounds for the poplar leaf blocks, added custom sound events for red shrubs and poplar leaf blocks, added opaque versions to the poplar leaves to fix black background issues. There's a bug number associated with that, so that got fixed. Added hinges to poplar door icon, also removed 3 pixels from top door texture that didn't match the palette, and fixed the poplar sign texture to follow other sign assets. So some slight tweaks. I mean, they're all going to be noticeable. You probably wouldn't know it unless you're...
Yeah, unless you already knew and were looking for it. But it's part of just the tidying up, polish, like, keeping things in line.
Yeah. So nice little aesthetic changes there. So just little things. And that pretty much wraps up that portion, actually that entire preview that we received this week. So a lot there, and we still have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, that was an hour.
That was an hour. We're going to see if we can get this rest of this stuff in an hour. That's going to be difficult, but let's see here. Let's move on to the Minecraft movie challenge. To summarize this, found at Minecraft.net's movie Minecraft winner announcement. The winner of the Minecraft movie build challenge is Francisco C.M. with the Lightning Rod Lighthouse. Due to an oversight, the tree village built by Ben V will be included as an honorable mention in the movie. All finalists' builds will be featured in a Minecraft movie squared or its end credits. You want to shine some light on this, Mint?
I don't really have much to say here. They mentioned this oversight. I've heard
it was odd to me.
I've heard a lot of things go back and forth about the build challenge, and I don't know which of it was really true or not, because I just don't have that information. Like, I saw some people claiming that some of the builds were using blocks that were not allowed, and I've seen a lot more posts about this, but I'm pretty sure I saw one where someone like clarified that actually they were allowed blocks. So I just don't know. Either way, if that, whatever this is about, whatever this oversight is, it sounds like it got recognized, and at the end of the day, if all these finalists, because they added, it seems, a finalist,
all of them,
it sounds like all of them are going to be in the movie in one way or another. They're still leaving it ambiguous as to whether it is going to be actually like somewhere in the background or if it's in the credits. They might just not even know at this moment yet. But either way, they're sounds like a good outcome. I don't know, like, I don't have much more to say on that.
I have to say this. If one of these is actually in the movie, I know they're probably filming it still, because that started, I report on back in March, I believe.
A little bit ago, but this would all be like post-production, I'm sure.
But I'm just saying, like, if it was actually going to be in the movie, like, because these are biome dependent, right? These builds, so
which means all these biomes are probably expected to be in the movie.
That's what I was thinking, which is interesting. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to see that we'll see more biomes represented in the movie because we didn't really see much in the first Minecraft movie when it came to biomes. Or in my opinion, we didn't. That's all I have on this too. I also heard the same thing that there was illegal blocks being used, which seems almost like really. I don't see how that could happen because I even toured these things to vote. So I got what's that?
I'm just trying to think, and I actually know exactly where to look at this because I remember watching a stream. I think it was IBX Toy Cat was just looking around this, and I think he was literally trying to place blocks that were not allowed, and it didn't let him. So it's like I don't know where this is coming from. I'd have to look at it again. But
from what I understood, all the contestants, if you tried to do this, you pretty much had the exact same blocks. Everybody.
It was different per biome. I do know that.
Yeah, per biome, but everybody had those.
Yeah, is what it's supposed to be. Supposedly, according to some people, that's not the way it went. And without having the map at this point for what was used there, which actually maybe it is accessible, I don't know. But I can't confirm or deny. Yeah. But my understanding from what I've seen is that this might not actually be true that they used illegal blocks, but I don't really know.
We'll just keep that as speculation for now. We won't verify or deny that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to the next piece of Minecraft news. We have here something that you provided to me today, July 11th. Mint, you sent or direct messaged me and provided at Kaggle Martin, or as they're known as, Potato Man of MC, a post showing us a series of images and text saying, quote, Amazon Japan has shown off next world. Open at your own risk, ! In quote. What are your thoughts on this matter, Mint?
Yeah, so this definitely is in line with what I had talked about a few weeks ago on the Realm News Flash that I helped out with. There was a image I described of concept art that was found that looked very alien and very unlike anything that we're familiar with in Minecraft, and it had been speculated that it was the fourth dimension. There's a lot of other names going around, but I'm going to continue to refer to as the fourth dimension until we know. But so some images came out that again look very similar to that and very not in line with what we're used to. This again came from what should be a reliable source because Amazon didn't just make up these images, right? So it just seems like there's some more stuff on that. I don't think there's anything really to talk about. A lot of people have continued, because it was mentioned before, to say that it's very similar to the Warped Forest. Mm-hmm. I don't see it. I see that there's because a lot of the foliage seems to be this turquoise color. I can see, and then obviously with the soil being more of that reddish color, is that maybe it's a little bit more saturated, but as you would especially expect compared to turquoise. I can see the color comparison, but everything else around it doesn't look like something that came out of the Warped Forest. So I don't see that.
I have here, man, a popular Minecraft account who goes by, him,
Harry.
Heuristic, underscore, or just plain Harry, who said, quote, so they're just going to reveal the dimension in some Dungeons 2 trailer in a few days. What on earth is their plan here? I really do not understand. And why is it a warped forest? Why does it have overworld flowers? End quote.
Yeah, so
that's what they think. Yeah, that's the warped forest. That's one of those examples that you just said.
Yeah, but I'm looking at one of these pictures and again, I don't see anything that says warped forest. I don't see the large warped fungus. I don't see any mushrooms here. I see some grass that's orange, which is not in the warped forest. This doesn't look like netherrack. It's just more red and orange in color. There's actually multiple blocks there. Some are red, some are orange. It's other than the colors, I don't see it. But regardless of that, and the other thing you said that Harry mentioned about their strategy here? I don't know. I don't know. I also think that it's weird that and obviously this is not how this was supposed to be announced. This is
No.
so like, and I don't know the workflows of a lot of stuff like bringing a product like this to launch and being able to really keep all of this stuff under wraps. But I feel like I would think, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe there's just a lot of things that keep going wrong. But I would think that studios would understand that this is a risk and not try to continue to keep this as like a secret for much longer. I I sort of get it. Like if they want to keep it right to the end and be like, and here it is, and you can play the game in like a week, that would be
Yeah.
fun. But you have to really balance how things in reality work all the way up to that time, which is a hard task, clearly. So I also don't know uh, what the strategy is for this. That's not something that I guess like keeps me up at night or anything, but it is something that when stuff like this happens, I am just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's like this.
Do you think if this is the quote unquote fourth dimension that this is going to be represented in Minecraft Vanilla?
One day, I do think that as this is we've seen a lot of stuff that has been in spinoffs that has both come to vanilla and not come to vanilla. I think that as this is obviously a huge major thing that especially has very major lore implications, and we already have the portal like in the base game like there, and and you can't remove it like easily at least. So the developers seemingly wanted it to be there. And not just like a decoration thing, because then you would be able to just go and move it around. But they've wanted to make sure that most players keep it there. So I do think it's going to come one day. I'm not on the bandwagon that says that it was going to be announced at either the Minecraft Live from this past May, or the one that was in March, or the one that is going to probably be in September. I'm not on that bandwagon. I think one day I believe it will happen. I really do think so, and I do believe that Mojang has given it thought and probably knows when that will be. But I don't subscribe to just because Dungeons is coming out this year that so will the dimension in the base game. I just don't think that has to be aligned. And I also think that doing that would kind of take away from some of the steam of Minecraft Dungeons, too, if they did that.
Well, I won't give my opinion on the fourth dimension. I've already stated it too many times. I don't see it coming anytime soon, if it's coming at all. But we shall see what these photos represent, what they represent soon enough. Fall's approaching, and I believe Dungeon 2 is due to release in a matter of months. What, 2 to 3 months? October?
I believe it's September 29th, I think.
Oh my gosh, right after not long after my birthday. That's interesting. That will be fun. That's always a fun time of the year, right around like the 28th to 29th. That week is always a big week for Minecraft. Now, I would like to shift away from Minecraft Direct and pivot towards its parent company, Mint. It's Microsoft, or more specifically, one of its CEOs, Asha Sharma, and her grand reset of Xbox. Let's dive into that, shall we? With a quote. Let's start with a quote. Quote, "We are beginning the most significant restructure in Xbox history." End quote. That was made by Xbox CEO Asha Sharma at 8:31 a.m. July 6, 2026. That can be found on Twitter, now under her personal account. She also emailed the same message to everyone on the Xbox team that would ultimately terminate approximately 3,200 employees throughout the fiscal year 2027. She immediately fired 1,600 people the day this email was made. She is quoted in this email as saying, "We must reset Xbox." Reset indeed. This is the start of a year-long restructuring, she claims. She goes on to state her condolences to those who lost their jobs, then explains why she had to do it. She provides some hard numbers. She plainly states that the business isn't healthy. Quote, we are operating at margins that are 3 to 10 times lower than comparable platform and publishing businesses, end quote. Her first point of action in her 3-point plan is to reset their content portfolio. She goes on to say that they have been losing 64 cents per dollar invested into Xbox. This is due to the rapid expansion of acquiring studios since 2018. It has essentially made the Xbox gaming division insolvent. The message goes on to explain these changes. Studio management changes, such as Compulsion Games and Double Fine Productions, will become independent studios. We have new ownership for some studios. New ownership for some studios, such as Ninja Theory and Undead Labs, will join new ownership with funding for their next games. Then we have restructuring and reductions. Activision, who created Call of Duty series, Bethesda/ZeniMax, who created the Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, Fallout 4, Oblivion, etc. We have Blizzard, who made World of Warcraft, King, who made Candy Crush, obviously Mojang here with Minecraft, and Xbox Game Studios will undergo reductions and restructuring, but no first-party games are being canceled out of the ones I just listed there. This next part that I am about to read from this email has really got some people riled up. It's in regards to Mojang and King. Quote, in addition, Mojang and King will now report directly to me, Asha Sharma. These two studios have increasingly become platforms and are our largest by monthly active players. They bring critical geographic, demographic, and differentiation to Xbox, end quote. People are on both sides of the coin, metaphorically speaking, when it comes to this new change in managerial structuring. Some people think she will destroy Minecraft. Others think now it will get the funding it truly deserves. The source at _Minecraft_live reported July 6th on Twitter, now X, this. Quote, according to sources from GameFile, President Asha Sharma believes that the game Minecraft has suffered from a significant lack of investment in the past few years. Microsoft was pouring large portions of its resources into funding other Xbox teams instead of making a major investment in the Minecraft platform. The Roblox and Minecraft platforms were similar in size 6 years ago, but Roblox has not now invested 5 times what Microsoft has invested in Minecraft, end quote. What are your thoughts on all that, Mint? I know I threw a lot out there, and I have a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was more than 27 pieces of wheat.
I'm sorry, bro.
So,
64 cents on the dollar. Lost.
Yeah, I actually did not know that number before you said it. That really is wild. And so I guess the start of this is that, like, obviously it, like, definitely sucks for everyone that had lost their job in these layoffs. That's never a happy thing.
So sorry for you out there.
Yeah,
listening to this.
Yeah, and like, yeah, that's never a good thing. Nobody wants to hear that, even if the reasons make sense, which it sounds like they definitely do. Like, this isn't something
corporate bloat.
Yeah, this isn't something that Xbox wanted to do. This isn't because, yeah, if things were going right, they would not have done this. Obviously, that doesn't make the news easier, but like, there's a lot of people that are just like, oh my god, like, and they're cussing out like Microsoft and Xbox, and just like this didn't happen because this is the way they wanted it to be. Like, that's the truth.
I read a story last night, Mint, that people are now, there's a conspiracy theory now that people are blaming Asha Sharma for these firings because she's racist.
There's always
because of her Indian background, and even though she's born in the United States.
What does that have to do?
She's born in the United States, I think, in Wisconsin, but people are blaming her because of her heritage, and that's why she fired all these people.
See that sounds racist.
There's a whole article. It is. There's a whole article. I can't remember who made it. I think maybe it was even GameFile reported on that.
I haven't read this, so I don't know anything else that like may or may not back that up. But to me, that sounds like that sounds like a load of BS.
It sounds like America to me, and it is a load of BS. No, moving on from that though, like,
But yeah,
I just want to throw that out there. People will just blame it. Sometimes, I hate to say this, sometimes companies have to lay people off because they made bad decisions and hired too many people.
Yeah,
and,
or things change. It's like it's not
change.
A lot
of factors.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors, and I won't don't listen to anything I'm saying and be like, oh my god, he's shilling. I'm not gonna say that it can't happen because of like bad decisions. Like that's very common, and I'm not very as familiar and like versed with all the Xbox stuff to be able to point and be like, this is one of them or this is like for certain. But also sometimes it's the way the market and the industry goes, and most times because the world and life is complicated, it's a mix of all of those things.
Yeah.
So like
in this case though, this looks like it was I'm not really placing blame, but I'm going to place blame on the former CEO before Asha Sharma, on Phil Spencer, who was there for like 20 plus years.
Yeah, this has been going on for a while. This didn't just happen in the past few months.
No, she's only been CEO for like not even a year, not even maybe 6 months,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I'm throwing out numbers. Like it's not even a year though. I can tell you that. But yeah, let's move on here and hear what her.
Actually, before we move on, because I wanted to touch on the reporting and the investing parts, because you mentioned that. A lot of people are also going doom and gloom about that Mojang and King are going to report directly to her. Why? I don't why is this necessarily a bad thing? Because like, to put it in perspective, like people. It's so funny. A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, Mojang is losing their autonomy because they're going to have to report to Microsoft." But people were claiming this for years, that this was happening. Now it's just someone different.
No, I agree, and actually that's what I'm about to get into. Is what we'll talk about that specifically. Her urge to streamline the Xbox game division due to too much mid-management. Quote, today, and this is directly from her email to her employees. Today, in some parts of the company, work passes through as many as 14 layers of management. Our platform teams are 40% larger than they were at the start of this generation, even as our player base and playtime have declined. That complexity has slowed decisions, blurred accountability, and made it harder to deliver for players. As we reset Xbox, we will simplify, end quote. And that's where I want to get your thoughts on that, because 14 layers of management is completely insane.
Yeah. That is insane, and I'm glad you read that quote, because that is exactly what I was going to get to. Before, like, people at Mojang were just reporting to somebody else, except it was messier. 14 layers. Just imagine that, like, the game Telephone we play as kids. like in terms of that, like, if something happens at Mojang, I don't know how often they have to like get permission for something, or at the very least report about certain things, and that's to go from one person to the next down 14 people. And if someone needs clarification on something, it probably goes all the way back down the chain. Like that is. We shouldn't want this. This shouldn't be something like, this should be a good thing. We should be happy that this is changing. And in terms of,
it's sad that people have to lose their livelihoods over this. But
of course that should definitely not, like, that should not be something that's like to celebrate and whatever. Yeah. If those are the people that are also, like, I'm sure a lot of people getting fired.
Management is insane. I'm sorry, like she inherited corporate bloat, and she is, from what I'm seeing, she's trying to reduce that, because that's what I mean. Honestly, that's probably what I would do if you put me in this situation. It's like this. That sounds insane. 14 layers, and she wants to reduce it. She says she would like to get a flatter organization with 5 layers, but she really wants to strive to make it only 3 layers. That's a huge reduction. Huge, man. Could you imagine 11 layers cut out of that cake?
Yeah, and I mean, again, for all those people in the middle, for those that have lost their jobs, some of them might, have been, because I don't know exactly what all these people do, and I'm not familiar incredibly with like Microsoft's structure or anything. But so all those people that got fired, yeah, that's not like I'm not obviously I'm sad for them because you never want to be told that about your livelihood,
No.
and especially because like that they didn't set that up. That's not necessarily their fault. But
No.
but in terms of looking at it from Xbox, like this. Like what was happening, like I don't think anyone should have called that acceptable. Like this sounds like a very, very positive change from that perspective, and then again for some of these, particularly Mojang and King, it's there is no layer in between. It is Mojang to Asha Sharma, which also sounds like a good thing. The person at the top of the food chain decided that they care enough about the success of Mojang that they are going to personally be the one to be there for that communication and facilitate that, and like that's how much believes in Minecraft or cares about the game. Like, and of course you can also say like, oh, cares about in terms of money, which like. Sure, I guess you can make that claim if you want to. But either way, like she decided that that it is important enough that she will be personally involved. And people are just like, oh, and she's gonna start like instilling her will onto the game,
like AI, her background in that.
Yeah, which is exactly like what people were saying Microsoft was doing from the beginning. So if you believe that, then if you believe that, then nothing's changing. But then, like, either way, that's just a massive assumption just to, like, because people don't like the direction and want to, be negative about Minecraft or be negative about Asha Sharma or Microsoft. Like there's no, that's one of those things, there's nothing to that. It's just a claim to make a claim that might be newsworthy. Until anything happens, we really don't know, and it's probably going to be a while. But from the objective sound of it, to me, this sounds like a positive thing for Minecraft.
I see, ever since I've been covering Asha Sharma, which I've been covering her since she took over, I've taken a very neutral stance with her, and I'm still at a neutral stance with her even after this. I've listened to other podcast hosts, and like I haven't heard any of them like give her any credit for anything. I've just heard negative things about her, and I honestly, I'll have to say this: I think I'm leaning more towards I enjoy her, but she's such a new CEO. It's just time will tell for me, and so she hasn't even been in her chair for an entire fiscal year yet, so she hasn't even had a chance to prove what she can do. But what I have seen that she can do is she's reduced prices on Game Pass for people, made that more affordable to players. I hate that people are losing their jobs. I truly do. I hope those people move on to bigger, better things in their lives. But if you're losing 64 cents on the dollar, if you have 14 layers of management, then you had inherited a business that is set up for failure. And what are you going to do but cut the fat off that? And that's exactly what I would do too if I was put in this situation. I'm no CEO or anything. It's just common sense knowledge there. And I mean, seriously, I went to business school. I have my minor in business. I can tell you that's what you would do. And it's just common sense. And to me, that will upset a lot of people. That looks bad, but guess what? She also has a really, to me, I really enjoy her transparency, because not only did she share that email to the entire Xbox gaming division, but she made it public on her Twitter feed so everybody could see what is happening. And many CEOs won't do that because that's considered negative PR. Layoffs aren't considered a good thing for companies or for stock prices. So I really, truly think that she is dedicated to turning this around. She's stated that she wants to make Xbox a billion-player console, essentially. She wants 1 billion players to be involved in this, which is very ambitious. There's no game that has 1 billion. Or there's nothing I don't think has 1 billion people. Like, in anything.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, subscribe to.
What is that, like some tenth of the planet? Something
Yeah, that's like a tenth of the planet. So I love the ambition, but with that said, that's my take on that. I want to move on to her third point here in her email, her third phase, I should say, which is resetting how we operate. She states that their team grew too big and it started to fracture. She wants to unify the team and create shared goals to reach. Sharma hired a chief operating officer for the first time in Xbox history named Helen Chang, who will bring the business together under one operating model, make clear business decisions, learn from success and failure, and enforce accountability, according to the email. And then she goes on to thank those who put their time in and other flatteries in the email, just corporate stuff. But the main thing that we take from this is, as the Minecraft community, is that she will be directly overseeing Minecraft now, or that's what was the most important thing to me. And it won't have to go through all the other layers of management, as we discussed. And let me read this real quick. GameFile.com had a great article by Stephen Tutilo published the same day Sharma released her email, stating that 5 studios, all with popular games in their own right, are being let go from Microsoft or the Xbox game division in order to tighten its belt from financial bloat. The 5 studios are these: Double Fine, Compulsion Games, Undead Labs, Ninja Theory, and Arcane Lion of France. They are not being shut down per se, but they are now they're on their own. A fascinating piece of information in regards to Minecraft that was given to GameFile said, quote, Minecraft was funding much of the rest of Xbox gaming team, the source said, rather than being deeply funded itself, end quote. Turns out that the world's most popular video game, Minecraft, was supporting all those other studios I just read off. However, it wasn't funded in the same respect. That appears to now be changing with Sharma directly in charge, or we hope so. We shall see how she delegates that. What are your thoughts on that, Mint? That they were funding all these other games. That's a big story in itself. All this time.
First thing I want to say is, can we just give a moment for how impressive that is for Minecraft? Minecraft was keeping multiple Xbox studios afloat.
That means we were keeping them all afloat as players, like, subscribers. Well, yeah. I'm a Realms person, so I have been.
For people talking about how, like, Minecraft hasn't been doing well and Minecraft this, like, all this negative stuff, like, just listen to that. That's crazy. That's like, I would say that's impressive. That is a testament to how well Minecraft has been doing. But also, like, while things like that, I imagine are, not uncommon in terms of, like, major companies with, like, subsidiaries where, like, sometimes things help out in, like, bad times for others. This is a little bit extreme, because if it's keeping all these other ships afloat, like, it's one thing, like, when the most profitable thing is, like, we can help invest for this other one, but yeah, it sounds like that's no longer going to be the case. And then, of course, that leads to the questions of what does that mean for Minecraft? Because Asha did say, it sounds like that she wants, or someone claims, maybe it was Asha, you can probably tell me, that someone claims that they had not been investing in Minecraft the way that they should have been. That it's been very underinvested. And so if that's going to change and all this money is now going to go back into Mojang, or at least begin to, where will we see the impact of that? Is a very interesting question.
It is a very interesting question.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of things. A lot of people, of course, have been claiming, like, "Oh my God, this is the reason why we have drops and not major updates." I don't think that's anything to do with it. That we have so many. We've had enough reasons provided for why that, like, for this, that I don't think this has anything to do with it. Like,
people need to chill about the drops and update thing. Like, seriously, move on from that topic. Like, we get enough. We get enough every year. Like, people
Yeah.
need to be satisfied. Move on. This, I don't think Sharma being more direct with it. She's not going to be deciding what comes into Minecraft.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't. Yeah, that's not her job. She was
That's not how
hired
it
for.
works.
She was hired for all these other things.
She's got bigger fish to fry. As long as Minecraft brings in money, that's all she cares about.
Yeah, if you wanted to claim about whatever middle manager, closest to Mojang doing that, then like that sort of you can probably make that claim better, but like that's not. But Asha is going to be the contact. That's not her job.
No, it's not her job. She's just going to make sure it's doing well.
Yeah, like I just don't. I don't know. I don't think there's any foundation to stuff like that.
No, there isn't any. It's just hyperbole.
Yeah, I think that my theory, and I don't know if this will ever be proven to be true, false, or otherwise, but I believe that this money, because they're talking about the Minecraft brand, the game is doing fine, clearly, but like when we have like the brand, of course, we've had the movie and the new ones coming out. We have all of these events that, I mean, a lot of them have been in the pipeline for a while, but all these events have been happening recently.
Like Village Rescue, the
Yeah.
Moonlight Trail.
Yeah, and those have been going on. We've been hearing about the new ones, like Moonlight Trail. I think was announced in March. Obviously, they finally announced the theme park, even though we've known that's been coming for a while. But to me, and there's also a thing that's starting next week, the Alton Towers one in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, dang! Already.
Yeah, that one's coming soon. I don't think we know much about it.
That's outside London, right?
Yeah, maybe something like
I know.
that.
It's Jack and Michael were saying they live right next to it, pretty much.
Possibly.
Right?
They were talking about the theme park.
That was a theme park. Damn.
Yeah, the Alton Towers one. I don't know exactly where that is. I reported on it when I was on before.
Yeah, you did. I needed to listen to that episode again.
You hear this? You hear this, guys? Anyway, so
it was a great report. It's just been a while. There's a lot going on in Minecraft.
Yeah, but one thing that people have been talking about for a while, and then suddenly we got with very little warning, is Minecraft at TwitchCon, which basically was almost like a smaller version of the old Minecons. I think that one of the big places that we might see the results of this money is that big things like that, big things that bring the Minecraft community together, and it's a whole event, like they're in this city, and there's merch, and there's events, and there's announcements. We saw very suddenly, without warning, that almost come back. I think, and obviously I don't know this to be any connection, but people have been asking for so long, why now? Like, why did they choose this time to do it? People thought it was going to be something related to big major updates, or that it was something to do with Minecraft Dungeons 2, which is what I sort of assumed, but they didn't talk about it so much, even though they had stuff there, so it doesn't seem to be the case. So a lot of people have been wondering, was there any, still trying to figure it out after the fact. I wonder if this was something by Asha being like, is there any possibility that we can just do that? I wonder, because when I think of that suddenly happened, and this talk about investing into the Minecraft brand, and that's been something that people have wanted back for a while. It was a big thing when it happened, and that feels pretty logical to me.
And to me, I think that would be an easy thing for them to implement without spending much money, honestly.
I'm sure it's a whole thing, but of course I don't know what the profit margin is of holding a big event
make
like
money
that.
off those events, honestly.
I mean, yeah,
tickets.
Well, that and merch stuff.
And, make it a whole thing. I mean, no, I agree. I'm very interested to see how this plays out with Asha Sharma. I do have a little bit more stuff here.
Oh my God, there's more?
Some news. I don't know what you're like. This is a little bit conspiratorial here that I'm going to get into.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more opinion, but here's the facts here. This morning I read an article on PC Gamer, PCGamer.com's article, Xbox new chief strategist is a metaverse true believer, written by Tyler Wilde. It says that Asha Sharma has hired a person named Matthew Ball, a game business Twitter circuit person, an investor and analyst, as the new chief strategy officer in the Xbox gaming division. She brought him on right before the layoff announcement. Ball is an author and an investor. Ball is a strong proponent of the metaverse, having authored a book on the subject and co-founded an investment fund focused on metaverse-related companies. He has an investment fund holding. He founded the Round Hill Ball Metaverse ETF, which includes stakes in companies like Roblox, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Coinbase, and various game publishers and tech firms. I just wanted to add that before moving on here because the latest news in the Xbox hirings, because it's just the latest like big CEO, or what would he be called? Or he's like one of the chairs now of the Xbox game division. So I thought that was important to talk about because let me see here. I want to move away from the layoffs and talk about this guy a little bit more. Gosh, where did I have this? Because he's like huge into the metaverse, and he was like saying something. He's like huge into Roblox. He invests in it. His Round Hill Ball Metaverse ETF like invests into Roblox too. And I read somewhere in the article that potentially Minecraft is Microsoft's Roblox, and it's really important for them to maybe establish a foothold when we enter the metaverse. That's why they want to keep Minecraft so close and dear, just because of the massiveness of it, the demographics it provides, and all that. And that's where the conspiracy kind of comes in. And I'm not really huge into the metaverse, and I'm not like well read into that stuff that I'd have to do much more research into, Mint. But what are your feelings about getting some chief strategy guy in here, chief strategy officer with that's huge in the metaverse?
I mean, like, a lot of this is it sounds like a lot of assumptions.
It does.
So I definitely would want to stress that. But, like, if we were to entertain that this is, like, because at first you have to assume that this is, like, I don't know if we know for a fact all of this happened, but, like, in terms of the guy being hired, but if we're assuming that it had something to do with Minecraft.
That was a fact, like, him being hired.
That one is fact?
Yeah, that's on PCGamer.com article by Tyler Wilde.
Yeah, I mean, if the rest of this was also on there, all the stuff like more of the assumptions, and I kind of still wonder about the whole thing. But
the background is all accurate on him. It's just the caveat in that article was like, we can't assume that he's going to push his agenda on Xbox, his metaverse agenda, because he's wrote a whole book. He's obviously influenced. His ideologies line with that.
Yeah, so but also like he can do other things too.
He can do other things.
Like remember, like people were worried about the whole AI background that Asha Sharma had, and one of the few things I know that she did was kind of cancel some of that stuff, right? So like I think it's just something to remember is that just because the background is like, first, like, what is his role? Like, what is he meant to be doing there is important. But then also, like, who for? Because, like, I'm not very familiar with metaverse stuff. That's not been something that's really stood out to me in anything. That could change. I haven't experienced it in any way to have, like, a opinion based off of that. But, like, that can be... But if that was happening, and if there's enough people that are interested in it, which you would hope if they're going to do it, then, like, there's so many Xbox games that could possibly be applied to. And then there's, if it has anything to do with Minecraft, like, you still don't know what does that mean for Minecraft. Like, there's so many things here and unknowns that I don't really... I don't feel like there's much I can say on it other than, like, you know, if one day it turns out that all of this stuff is, you know, relevant there, then obviously we'll also know much more about it and what it means. But to me, I'm kind of just like, I don't know. It's a thing. Does it mean anything? I don't know.
And I don't know either. But I thought this was interesting too. Just to top this off was just the irony kind of this. According to PC Gamer, another article of theirs, U.S. Federal Reserve taps Xbox CEO Asha Sharma, who just laid off 3,200 employees, to lead task force on jobs. That's the title of the article. It sums it up. Sharma is now in charge of a task force on employment and productivity for the Federal Reserve. What are your thoughts on all this, my friend?
What?
Yeah, Asha Sharma is now part of the Federal Reserve and making decision makings for our fiscal, as a nation, policies and whatnot.
I definitely have more questions than like if it wasn't clear from like stuff I was saying in this episode, like I'm like this isn't something that I'm like necessarily study or pay like close attention to. I'm kind of just like going off of the information that's presented and what I think, but like what I think based off of that. But I don't know. Does her background like align with that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'd have questions about that. Whose decision is this? Why they made that decision? What it is that she actually is then going to be like doing? Like, is she making a certain decision or is she consulting?
There's been 5 task force, and she's leading this specific one that's titled Employment and Productivity for the country. The other 4, I'm not sure. I didn't look into that with other task force are out there, but she's one of the 5 asked by the Federal Reserve to carry this out.
You said asked. So is this even like something that is happening?
Oh, she took it. No,
she took it.
Happened.
Okay.
Yeah, she took it. It's official.
You said 5 of them.
She's in charge of one of the 5.
There's
5 task forces.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the other 4 are, but her task force is specifically titled Employment and Productivity.
Yeah. I don't know.
Her career's taken off.
Sure, yeah, and there's obviously a lot to maybe bring into politics of how this happened and if there's anything there, which I'm not going to get into, and so a lot of it I'm not familiar with enough to
I just thought it was interesting. That's why I tagged that in here. I was like, because it just happened yesterday, that announcement, before I went to bed. It was like, wait, now she's a federal agent now? That's she's in charge of Minecraft and she's a federal agent? Cool.
Well, she is in charge of the beast that houses Minecraft.
Yeah. Which is pretty powerful.
Well, sure. But it was like, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any insight on that. I think I'm more just confused.
No, I'm just good for her, man. Hell of a resume. I don't even know what to say on that either. It'll be interesting to see how Sharma does with our employment productivity policies in the country. And Minecraft, along with Minecraft.
Yeah, man, a lot of villagers are really gonna be hurrying at this one.
We're going to be so much more productive. Employment's going to go up so much higher. Less nitwits on the street.
I was about to say the entire Minecraft world is just going to be one big village.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, that brings me to the end of this week's Realm News Flash Report. MintRefresh. Anything you would like to add before we wrap this up?
I don't think too much. I'm more just still I go back to the things that we've gotten in snapshots. And actually, bear with me 1 second. I want to check one thing on the Minecraft wiki that I think is probably insightful. I just want to confirm this before I. Okay, so today is July 11th to date the episode for everybody. You're welcome, Dark Lord.
You're fine.
On July 29th of 2025 was the first snapshot for last year's full drop.
Really?
That is a bit over 2 weeks from now. We've gotten
Chase the Skies.
No, for Copper Age.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Now I want to check the same thing when it comes to Bedrock, because I know Bedrock started earlier. I don't know if I don't know what's happening with the whole summer break that they usually go on.
Yeah, what is the word on that?
I don't know. I don't quite understand. But Bedrock started a little before then. But I was and maybe it's still happening, maybe it's late. But as we've seen so much already. By this point, it really leads me to wonder what is like what more is coming. We've seen so much, and again, people have already been calling this like I think it's already the best drop we've gotten. Like hands down, I think that's already decided.
Oh my,
And
that's a heck of a claim, my friend.
and it is July. Comes out allegedly end of September, and this might. And people, I've seen one theory that this might change because right around that same time is when Minecraft Dungeons is coming out, and with the earlier start, maybe they're going to move this earlier for something. I don't know. It's not impossible, but basically, I think it's crazy with what we've seen. First Bedrock preview with the Copper Golems was July 1st.
Wow. Okay.
So
wow.
Still a little bit earlier.
I
But
remember that now.
yeah, but I think this is going to be really great. I think if you're listening and have just been curious or inspired or dumbfounded or something based off of what we were talking about with like cushions, or even just with the dappled forest itself and abandoned camps and those things, watch the show. Like I said, continue listening to Realm News, stuff like that. And then,
Keep on listening.
there's stuff on YouTube. There's stuff on Twitter that both me, the Dark Lord, and other people you've heard on the show have been doing. Like I've seen packs that like Cyclops has been showing off, particularly one that added something with another thing that came out in snapshots. There's so much happening.
A lot. Oh my gosh, this is a great.
Stay tuned.
It's been a great year for Minecraft, in my opinion.
It really has been.
Minus Tiny Takeover.
Yeah, and well, I mean, and you know my thoughts on that, but
necessary. We'll call it the necessary takeover.
Yeah, necessary. I still like I won't disagree that that might be the bottom of the drop pie, but the last two are in the top three. In my opinion, and obviously other things with Minecraft like Dungeons 2 and stuff. But like, stay tuned. There's clearly so much happening. It's insane.
Mint, thank you so much for co-hosting this Realm News Flash with me, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and folks, I have all of MintRefresh's links in the show description. Go check out his work. I have those like the stuff we talked about, his tweets, his posts that we mentioned are in the show description. So, and
there's gonna be more that I'm posting.
Yeah, and he's always has some awesome stuff.
I just want to let you know, guys, I haven't posted about it, but I did find what happens when you combine cushions and mini blocks, and you get some even more cool things.
Okay, guys, go check out his profile. Go follow him at Twitter, now X, or you're on Blue Sky as well.
I'm on Blue Sky, yep.
And YouTube. So yeah, they'll all be found in the show description or the episode description. And I know we're leaving you with much to think about. There's much news being made in the Minecraft gaming world, and Realm News will be there to cover it, folks.
Yeah, even if it takes 2 hours to.
Even if it takes 2 hours, you're going to get it. Until next week, I wish you all a great rest of your day and happy crafting. The Dark Lord. Signing out. Hey, Realm News fans, it's your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I am here to tell you that your support means everything. Spread the word by telling friends, liking, and commenting on Spotify or Good Pods. Find me on X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or via email at bio.link/Realm News. For more content, join my Patreon at the Copper tier for early episodes, bonus content, and newsletters. Find out more at bio.link/Realm News. No pressure, though. Just keep listening, liking, and sharing. That's more than enough. Happy crafting, and see you at the next Realm News.